Welcome to our organization behavior exam revision. So look at assorted exam questions from the paper. So these papers start from 2013 up until 2021. So we'll start with the 2013 paper. It's been the same lecturer. So question number 1, why do we study organization behavior and discuss the main characteristics of a managerial grid? You have been appointed as HR manager. The first task we've been asked to develop HR policies for your company, discuss the main HR policies you develop, and discuss the main features of a team and a group and an organization, and what are the main benefits of time management to a manager in an organization. So 25 marks. So quickly, we are going to summarize all those in one. So what is organization behavior? Okay, the course itself, what is organization behavior? And let's discuss the characteristics of Azure Grid. Is my screen clear?
Yes.
Okay, so what is um, organization behavior? A definition, what are we talking about? So organization behavior, we are discussing the way people act at work. In organization behavior, looking at the way people act at work, it helps us understand why um, people behave in a certain way at work. So organization behavior mainly studies behavioral tendencies of people. All right. So this is about how many marks? About 5 marks. So when you're dealing with organization behavior, it's a study of human interactions, why people behave the way they do, how they work efficiently in teams, and also improving collaboration. So it teaches us how people work effectively with teams. So we're going to look at three um, key points on why we study human organization behavior. So number one, we're looking at understanding the way people work at work, behavior, also problem solving, also issue of leadership. So understanding the behavior of people at work, number one, is the reason. So it explains why people act the way they do. Are we together? Number two, OB is studied because we want to understand um, how to improve teamwork. So OB emphasizes on the importance of the group dynamics and collaborations. It will teach us how to manage team diversity. People come from different circles of life. So it encourages open communication, how to build trust, and the key elements of how to lead to become stronger. OB also looks at problem solving. By studying OB, it will equip you as an individual with analytical skills to recognizing workplace issues like conflicts, performance, or lack of motivation. It will also endeavor to offer models and techniques that will uh, give you practical solutions that will benefit both the organization and the employee. So this is one course that studies the mind. It introduces us to various leadership styles and theories. It aligns our minds to thinking of future leaders and how they should understand, to motivate, to inspire, to influence others effectively. So this course will highlight the importance of ethical leadership and transformation leadership. So OB also focuses on the needs of employees and job satisfaction and also organizational culture. It introduces us to a more motivating and healthy environment, which increases employee engagement. Okay, so secondly, what are the main characteristics of the managerial grid? So we've heard of a managerial grid. What are the characteristics of a managerial grid? So managerial grid is a tool that shows the different leadership styles based on two things, the care for people and care for results. Okay. So what are the characteristics of a managerial grid? Anyone?
We have country club management,
Mm-hmm.
which it's 1 to 9, 9 being on the x-axis and um, 1 being on the y, focusing x for the people and y for results.
Okay. So look at this part. What else?
There's also team management, which is 9 to 9, considering that both sides are equal, both people and results.
It was developed by Robert Blake, okay, which talks about the different um, management styles based on the manager's consent. So the consent for people and production or task on the x-axis. So it helps us understand how leaders will balance their attention between the two groups, the employee needs and also achieving the organization goals. So I talked about the characteristics. There's consent for people, which is on the y-axis. Okay, what does it talk about, the consent for people? So what you're talking about are the 5 key management styles. Okay, 1 to 1, 1 to 9. 1 to 9, you talk about what?
Country club management,
Okay, then 1 to 1.
impoverished management,
Okay, then 9 to 1.
task management,
Okay, task management. So the grid basically talks about that. The characteristics is that the consent for people is on the y-axis, which talks about mainly it measures how the leader will consider the team's needs and personal development and job satisfaction. So the consent for production is on the x-axis, which measures the emphasis that a leader places on achieving results and productivity. So it's a balanced score where you have the consent for production and consent for people. So it has a 5 key management score chart or board where we have 1 on 1, okay, which looks at um, impoverished management, okay, 1 on 1, which looks at impoverished management. So what do we mean by the impoverished management? We're basically looking at the type of manager who will show very low or slow consent for both people and work being done. So they only do a bare minimum to keep their job and avoid problems. So in this grid, they don't really guide the team. Okay? They don't really guide the team or solve problems or push results. In this grid, it can only lead to low morale, poor performance, and lack of direction in the team. Then 1 to 9, or it looks at country club management. Here, the manager cares a lot about the people, but not so much about getting the work done. So here, the managers will try to keep everyone happy and they'll maintain a friendly, relaxed workplace. However, they avoid pushing employees to meeting their goals or deadline. So the team may like the manager, but productivity in this grid will suffer because there's no strong what focus on the tasks. Then 9 to 1, we're looking at what? The team management. This one is an authority compliant grid. It's a style which shows high consent for work and results, but low consent for people. In this grid, the manager is very strict and controlling. They're more focused on getting what? Things done efficiently. They care more about productivity than they do about what employees feel. So in that kind of grid, it leads more to short-term results, but over time, it may cause stress because people are being overworked, will be low morale and high staff turnover. Discuss the grid 5 to 5. We're dealing with middle of the road management. Talk about that. Given the points there for you to look at. Middle of the road management. As the term goes, middle, it falls in the moderate level pattern of concern for both the people and the work. So here managers will try to keep peace and strike a balance between being friendly and getting the work done. So it may sound good, but often as good as it sounds may result into average result performance. So the team is okay, but doesn't reach their full potential because the manager isn't strong in either area. Okay, in the middle. The 9 to 9, we're looking at team management. So this is a segment that is ideal for leadership, where the manager shows high concern for both people and production. All right. So in this grid, the manager will encourage teamwork and will involve everyone in decisions and aims for a high performance. And employees who will feel motivated, they'll feel respected and supported. And the work also gets done at high standard. So this is a style that will lead to long-term success and a positive work environment. So this is the management grid. Are we together? Any questions on that before we proceed? And we're looking at
Sorry, just to be clear, so when they're asking for the characteristics, we basically just talk about what it's about, which is the concern for people, production, and the same
yes,
5 key management styles.
yes, exactly.
Okay.
But no harm in defining and talking about the others, but those are the 5 key. Yeah. All right. So, but see, you have been appointed to HR. Now, your tasks are to develop the key policies of the company, discuss the human resource policies that you develop and justify your answer. So as HR, what key policies would you um, develop?
Recruitment and selection,
Mm-hmm.
and why I'll develop these policies because it's important to be selective about the kind of workforce you have, especially looking at the strategy that you may have in place as an organization. And then another one would be compensation and benefits, because you need to ensure that your workforce is satisfied. Because if they're not, it's unlikely that you will achieve your objectives. And then performance management, because you need to be able to monitor and evaluate and keep track of everything that they're doing.
Mhm. Okay. Right. So we've talked about three. All of them are very important. So the recruitment and selection, it will help the company hire new workers in a fair manner. So it will give guidelines and steps on how to choose the right people for the job. It is important because the company will bring in qualified and suitable employees without unfair treatment. So training and development is another policy that you can introduce, which will increase the chances of learning new skills and growing at their workplaces. So it includes workshops, courses, and on-the-job training. It's important. Why? Because it improves how people work and helps them stay updated and prepares them for the future roles. Health and safety is another important role that you can look at, which looks at the health and safety for everyone. So it includes safety and what to do in emergencies. It's important because it will protect workers from accidents and illnesses and also helps the company to follow the law. The other one we can look at is what? the leave policy, which is important. So it explains how employees take time off the work, okay, in terms of holidays, sicknesses, and family affairs. So it is important because it will allow workers to rest while they handle personal issues, which will keep them to stay healthy. We can also talk about equal opportunity policy, which will ensure that everyone is treated equally, no matter their background, their gender, their race. It is important because to create what? Fair and respectful workplace where everyone will feel what? Valued. Okay. Then we look at performance management, which we already talked about. Policy will help managers put in check how employees are working and also how they can improve. Why is it important? It will help the company reach the maximum goals and keeps employees motivated and focused. Is that clear? So this is giving us how many marks? 7 marks. So we can choose any of these ones. Is that clear? Okay. Let me go
Yes.
to our part um, D, discuss the main features of a team and a group in an organization. Okay, main features of a team and group in an organization. So what are the main features of a team? What is a team? What is a group? What are the main features? I mean, Max. So we can differentiate these two in terms of what? In terms of definition, their goals at the workplace, their commitment, and the leadership. Okay. So what is a team? How different is a team from a group? Okay. By definition, when you're dealing with a team is simply a group of individuals who work together towards what? Towards a same goal or task. All right. Whereas a group is simply a collection of what? Individuals who work together. They may not really be working as a team. Okay. So both of them to start with work together. Okay. But there are key differences in the terms of the definitions. So a team consists of individuals who work together towards a common task. Okay. And which requires collaboration of all the members, and each of them has a specific role to play. Whereas um, a group simply is a collection of people who may or may not be working towards a shared objective. So groups are basically pursuing their individual goals and they work often independent of each other. So the difference, so in terms of goals, the goal of the team is a specific shared um, goal. Okay, it requires collaboration, and each person in the team has a responsibility of ensuring that the goal is achieved. So they work together, they have deadlines. So teams have clear and focused targets, like completing the task, achieving the sales target, improving the process. On the other hand, when you're dealing with a group, these are members who have individual goals rather than one unified objectives. For instance, a group may be working on separate tasks to do necessary um, tasks to contribute to a shared outcome. In terms of interaction, team members interact frequently and they're close. So since team members rely on each other to accomplish their goals, they communicate regularly, they collaborate, they share ideas. Okay, so they have teamwork. Their roles are interdependent, whereas a group sometimes members do not actually interact with each other. And the interaction is actually limited. They often work as individuals, so communication is less frequent. So in terms of structure, a team has a clear defined structure, whereas each member has a specific role that contributes to the objective. So they have clear tasks that ensure that everyone shows their responsibilities and focus. So teams' roles are complementary, meaning each supports each other. In a group, on the other hand, it's less structured. So members may not have clearly defined tasks. Okay, so they are different in structure. In terms of leadership, a team has a shared or rotated kind of structure, in terms of leadership. They depend on each other's needs. In many occasions, leadership is more flexible, and different members may take charge of different stages of the projects, especially where expertise is required. So this approach actually allows the teams to be more adaptive. So groups, on the other hand, may have designated leader, okay, or may not have a clear leader at all. So if the leader is there, they will actually hold authority and most of the decisions. In terms of commitment, in teams, all members are highly committed to the team's success. So since each person's success is tied to each other, in a group, commitment can vary. So some may be highly committed, others may not. In terms of work process, um, uh, in a team, the work process is based on collaboration and shared responsibilities. Each member contributes to the achievement of the team's goals. In a group, on the other hand, they work more independently. So each member may be focused on their own task. So we've seen the differences between the two. Is that clear? So we go to explaining the main benefits, time management, um, main benefits of time management in an organization for a manager. What are the benefits of time management?
Reduced stress,
Okay, time management helps reduce stress.
also increased productivity.
Also increase productivity.
Yes, and enhanced decision making.
Help enhance decision making. Okay. By this, what is the importance of time management? Okay, so the benefits of time management to increase productivity, help in making decisions, better decision making, because when a manager manages time, they are uh, they have more mental clarity. So it reduces stress because by staying organized and top of tasks, this time management reduces pressure. You stay focused when time management is done. It enables managers to concentrate on what is important. It also enhances delegation with good time management. Managers can identify tasks that can be delegated. So the other advantage is that effective time management allows managers to break down larger tasks into smaller tasks. It also increases professional reputation because managers who manage their time will be seen as reliable. Workforce balance, work-life balance, proper time management allows managers to allocate time for personal life, ensuring that they do not burn out. Is that clear? Is that clear?
Yes, it is.
Okay. And then we go to question number 2. Okay, you have been asked to sensitize management on the types of organization culture, list the types of organization culture. Then part B, why do management systems matter and how do they impact performance of an organization? Number 3, explain the Erickson theory of personality development and briefly highlight its key features. And number 4, what are the four common characteristics that underline the definition of motivation. So let's start with the first part here. So list the types of organization culture and explain. Okay.
We have raw culture, which comes from one's role or JD. Was I audible?
Yes, you're audible. The types of organization culture.
Yes, I had mentioned raw culture, and I said that it comes from one's job role.
Okay, raw culture. One comes from one's job role. Uh-huh. Which other cultures do we know?
Task culture,
Mm-hmm.
power culture, and person culture.
Okay. So what characteristics come from there? So the power culture comes about from the role that one person holds. It's like a web, okay? It's task culture, person culture, role culture. You can even use a diagram to illustrate each of these ones here. So, like rightly said, on the power culture, what are the features of power culture? Under power culture, is quick decision making. There are few rules and procedures. Control is centralized. So this is mainly in a small business organization with strong leaders. The advantage that decisions are fast. Disadvantage that can be abuse of power and unfairness. Okay. There's also task culture. What is involved in task culture? A description of this culture. It focuses on what? Specific tasks and projects. All right. So features that is teamwork is important in here. The skills require expertise more. The flexible roles. Okay. They're common in project based organizations such as construction and consulting. And also it encourages innovation. Its advantage that it may lack long-term direction. Okay. Then we have person culture. What happened in person culture? Here, the structure is such that individuals are the central focus. It's not the organization. So features are that people work for themselves with the support of the organization. There's no formal hierarchy, and individuals are highly skilled and independent. It's common in law firms, research institutions, and universities. The advantage is high independence and job satisfaction. The disadvantage is that it's hard to control or lead to is hard to control or lead the organization. Okay. There's raw culture. What happens in raw culture? Raw culture is basically tied to what? To rules. Okay. It is designed by rules and responsibilities. So the features here is that each person has a clear job, there's strong procedures and hierarchy. is stability and consistency, common in government offices and large corporations. The advantage is that it's efficient and predictable. It can be slow to adapt to change. All right. So these are the kind of cultures that you should take note of. Okay, let's go to our second question.
Sorry, maybe before we go to the next one, have you given an example for power culture?
Yes, I gave an example for power culture. What did you say, power culture?
Sorry?
Power culture is mainly in SMEs, organizations, businesses that are run by individuals, sole traders. Okay. So these organizations are quick in decision, rules. It's common in small businesses, organizations with strong leaders.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So part B, why do systems matter and how do they impact the performance of an organization?
Why systems matter is because they provide some kind of structure in order for you to achieve your organizational goals in an effective and efficient way.
Provide structure and direction. Uh-huh. Number two, ensure consistency and quality, efficiency, and better decision making. Huh? Why do they matter? There are two questions there. Why do they matter? And what? We need to answer those two questions. So what have we said about why they matter? Number one, they provide what?
Structure and
Structure.
direction.
Yeah. Because they set clear processes and guidelines for how the task should be done. They improve efficiency by organizing the workflows and standardizing the procedures and management systems. Number three, they ensure consistency and quality. So consistent methods will lead to uniform results. So they improve product and service quality. Then they matter because they enable better decision making. So management systems will provide reliable data, reporting, and helpful for managers to make informed decisions. And also they support compliance. Okay, so they ensure that organizations follow legal and industry standards. They reduce risks and protect the company from potential issues. So systems are important because they help to support compliance and reduce on risk. They ensure that organizations will follow the legal what? Legal standards. Okay. The other question, the very question was how can they impact organization performance? How can they impact organization performance? How will they impact organization performance? Number one, by increasing productivity. So, clear systems, streamline tasks, they allow employees to work more efficiently. Number two, they improve communication. So, define processes will enhance communication across departments. They also um, ensure there's higher employee motivation. Okay, so employees will better understand their roles, which leads to higher job satisfaction. Okay, then they have better resource management. So efficient systems will minimize wastage and optimize on use. Then also have sustainable growth. So they consistently well-managed systems will improve overall performance. Okay, is that clear? Then part B, why um explain, oh, we're here now. Explain the theory of personality development and briefly highlight its key features. Huh? What are the key features of the theory, personality development? It looks at the lifespan.
Sorry, I think my network was breaking. Did you say we are on C?
Yes, C.
Okay.
So C, we're looking at what? Explain Erickson's theory of personality development and briefly highlight the, key features.
Okay, so the theory basically talks about how an individual's personality develops throughout their whole life,
Mhm.
and it happens in 8 stages.
Yes. So, what are those 8 stages we can talk about? So, first, before we even go to, because the 8 stages are part of the key features that this has. Okay. So, it looks at how a person's personality develops across the 8 stages of life. At each stage, so individuals will face specific conflicts that they must resolve to grow psychologically and socially. So the features that the theory covers the entire human life from infancy to old age. The theory also looks at the 8 stages, and each one stage is linked to a specific age range and psychological conflict that each individual is yet to face. It also looks at the crisis at each stage, that each stage has a positive and negative side of it. And also the theory um, also says that if conflict is successfully resolved, the person develops a positive personality trait like trust, independence, and identity. Is that clear? So now, these 8 stages that a person goes through um, as follows. They have an age um, predetermined range, okay, which looks like this. So according to this theory, it assumes that from 0 to 1, that is the trust versus mistrust age. So at this stage, babies will learn whether they can trust the world based on their needs, whether they're being met. If they're being fed and loved and comforted, they develop trust and feel more secure. If not, they may grow fear when suspicious. The second is that of 1 to 3 years of autonomy versus shame and doubt. So toddlers will begin exploring and trying to do things on their own, like walking, choosing toys. If they're encouraged, they become independent and confident. Okay, if they're overly criticized or controlled, they feel the shame and doubt their abilities. The third is of 3 to 6 years, where we look at the initiative versus guilt. So children begin planning doing things like playing with toys or pretending. If supported, they feel confident in taking those initiatives. Okay, if they're made to feel bad for trying, they develop guilt and become less and less willing to participate. Then 6 to 12, which is industry versus inferiority. So here, this is the school age where children learn new skills and want to be good at the tasks like reading, sporting, and also helping at home. So if encouraged, they feel proud and they are hardworking. If not, they may feel not good at all. All right. And we also have the age 17 to 18, where teenagers is identity versus role confusion. So teenagers explore who um and what they believe in. So if they figure this out, they will build a strong sense of self. If not, they feel lost and confused about their place in the world. 18 to 40, this is intimacies versus isolation. As adults, people will look for deep, loving relationships. Okay. If they form close bonds, they feel connected and supported. If not, they feel lonely and isolated. Then 40 to 65 is stagnation or generativity. So here adults who focus on being useful, raising children, helping others, and building their careers. If they feel they are making a difference, they become productive and satisfied. If not, they feel are stuck or unfulfilled. Then above 50, 65, that is the integrity or despair. Yeah, other adults will reflect on their lives. They feel proud of what they've done. They find peace and wisdom. If they have any regrets, they feel sadness and despair. So this is the summary of that table. Is that clear?
Yes, it is very much actually.
Okay. All right. So I'll send you that table so that you can um, go through it. Okay. So lastly, but not the least, we're now going to look at part D. What are the four common characteristics which underlie the definition of motivation? What are the four characteristics which underlie the definition of motivation? What are they? Please try. What are the four characteristics which underlie the definition of motivation? Yes, Musoli. Okay, so we'll look at the four characteristics which include activation, persistence, intensity, and direction. Okay, so these characteristics underlie motivation. Activation is when a person decides to take action. For instance, you choose to start a new course or set of goals. That's activation. So it's a first step. Then persistence is ability to keep going even when things are difficult. So a motivated person does not give up easily. For instance, they continue to study every day even when the topics are hard. It shows persistence. Then intensity, this shows or refers to how much energy and effort somebody puts in a task. For instance, if two people might be studying and one puts in more time and effort, the person will show higher intensity. And direction, this is having a clear purpose or goal that guides your action. For instance, if your goal is becoming a certified accountant, all your efforts and direction to be directed towards that, reaching that goal. So this is where we end our session for today. Thank you so much for your time.